Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Michael Oskam from ProAudioLessons.com with another free 5-minute demo. Today I'm going to be looking at the ever-popular DBX 160 emulation from Waves. A lot of friends of mine and people in the industry have been waiting a long time for this particular emulation to come out, at least the Waves version of it. It's been rumored for a while. It is now out, and it is awesome. I've used the hardware version of it in many countless instances, and I must say that I am equally pleased with the software counterpart. So let's take a listen to a track I have going here, and I'm going to show you kind of what the DBX sounds like on. Right now I'm using it on some drum components as well as my bass line. So I'm going to give you an idea of what it sounds like and how it can mold your sound and give you a desired output here. Let's see. So this is the song we're working with. Okay, and if we break it down a little bit piece by piece here, we can solo up the drums. And what I most specifically want to take a listen to here is the snare drum, because what I'm using this DBX for is the tone on the crack, the transient, the hit, as well as the ability to bring up ghost notes, because this particular drum line requires some ghost notes to be heard pretty clearly. So this is what the interface looks like. By the way, the introductory price for this right now is $100, so you may want to jump on it before the price goes up. I believe it will move to $150 after the introductory period is over. So it's the compressor's controls are much like any other compressor. You have a threshold. You can dial in the amount of compression, so this would be like a ratio, and then this would be your output makeup gain. You can change your metering by view the input, the output, and the gain reduction is essentially what that is. And then what's really neat about it is a lot more plug-in manufacturers are starting to do this. They're incorporating a mix knob into their interfaces, and what this does is it allows you to run parallel compression within the same plugin. For those of you who know how parallel compression works, usually it would require setting up a pre-fader send, it could be post-fader I suppose, but a send to an auxiliary channel that you then would compress ridiculously hard on purpose, and then you would blend together the two, the dry, so to speak, drums, and then the really compressed drums, and blend them together, and the idea is it's going to give you one solid performance with volume will be very consistent, and it'll sound really punchy and powerful. Well, it's not that hard to set up, so that's great, but this is even easier now because you can do it within the plugin itself. So if I have the mix set to 100%, then 100% of the compressor settings here are heard. But if I pull it back to 50%, then I'm hearing half of a dry signal, meaning uncompressed, and 50%, or the other half, of the compressed signal, so it's blended together. So it's really handy if you want to run parallel compression in the same channel without having to do any sort of external routing. Very cool. Also, we have controls over the input, and then it also gives the ability to introduce noise. Remember, a lot of these vintage units, part of what people found so enjoyable in what they did to the sound was it created noise when it was passing through the circuitry and the tubes or whatever else may be involved. It created a noise, and you know, to the layperson it may sound like tape hiss or something like that, but what it is it's this sound that can't really be mimicked any other way. So this gives you the ability to reintroduce that noise into your signal if you'd like. So let's take a listen here to the snare. So I'm at about 4.5 to 1, which is pretty good. And I'm knocking off about almost 10 dB on the peaks. And that's giving me the ability to bring up my output gain by about 6-7 dB here so that those ghost notes can really be heard nicely. I'm going to bypass it. Just really rounds out the sound. I can hit it even harder. So you can see the mix now. That's very compressed. So that's really, really helpful. It's transient. It's designed to handle transients very well, so it does work well on things like drums. I also have it on my kick drum here, so let's solo this with it. Introducing some noise. Now this is a stereo instantiation. You can see that you have different modes. You have mid, side, dual, and stereo, which is great. More versatility. And it really just sounds great. So I'm going to give you an idea of the drums without, or with the DBX and without. I'm going to show you the bass now. I think that it's really doing some great work on the bass. What I like most about it, and the way that I'm using it in this instance, is the bass part is actually, it was a little bit too percussive, in my opinion. A lot of younger mixers and amateur mixers have problems with mixing low end. In fact, I know that it's one of the most searched problems probably on YouTube, is like, how do I mix my low end? My kick drums sound flammy and lame, and my bass part sound. And the biggest tip I can give you right now is you need to pick one instrument to lead that particular frequency range. It can only be the kick, or it can only be the bass. It cannot be both. Once you decide which one is going to be leading, then it's really simple. You just have to imply the right techniques to get one to lead and one to follow the other. In this case, I'm using the DBX because this bass part is rather percussive without it. If we take a listen to this in bypass, you can see that the transients on the hits, the stabs, it's percussive, and also the decay of the note is awfully quick. So it goes bang, and it's hot, and then it kind of dissipates. So what I'm using the DBX for in this instance is to soften those transients. So when it comes in, it's not competing with the attack of the kick drum or the beater of the kick drum, letting the beater of the kick drum lead. Therefore, the bass is taking a back seat. Also, I have a slower release time in place, so that, and that's what's great about this, it has a fixed time. It's releasing at a pace which allows the note to continue to sustain for a longer period of time. I want you to listen to those two things. When I kick it on, you're going to notice that the attack kind of disappears and the decay lengthens. So here it is in bypass. On. That is like night and day, okay? The other trick is, and I'll get into this later, is now that I've decided that the bass part is going to be taking a backseat to the kick drum, I have a Waves Renaissance compressor with the side chain set up so that it ducks underneath the kick drum. And you could do that in the DBX as well. I just chose to do it quickly with this, but if you wanted to, it does have a key input. You could, in theory, take the ducker signal and, let me bypass this, use this simply as a ducking mechanism. But as you can see, it changes the tone entirely. So I'm going to keep it the way I had it set up. Anyway, this has been Michael Oskam from ProAudioLessons.com. Stick around for the next free 5-minute demo where we'll be looking at one of your next favorite plugins. Talk to you soon.